I'd like to invite Mr. John Crimmins, who is available right now. Welcome, Mr.
Yes,
John.
I'm here. I'm here. Thank you.
Just a half a minute, I'll just read about yourself and then you can start. He's an
Okay.
MSc PG diploma in psychotherapy from Trinity College, Dublin, founder, director, the Behavioural Training Institute, Dublin, Ireland. Most welcome. Please give your angle to this topic. Global Education 2050, Enhancing Global Citizenships and Online Partnerships. Yes, Mr. John. Please go ahead.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. I'm here in Dublin, Ireland, and it's a great pleasure to be with you. I'm not sure. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Get used to technology here. Yeah, so basically, I'll just give a little bit of background about myself. I would classify myself as a psychologist and also an educator. Another term might be educational entrepreneur. I was a psychotherapist for many years, working with addiction, with depression, with different types of psychological issues. And mainly working with addiction, we used psychoeducation to educate people in deep addiction about their problems. So I found the power of psychoeducation very, very powerful. And this is something that brought me into the area of education. So I set up the Addiction Training Institute in Ireland in about the year 2000 and discovered then a big need for training and education in addiction. What I did then was I developed a partnership with the Athlone Institute of Technology in Dublin, in Athlone, in Ireland. And we developed a terrific partnership for a degree in addiction studies. So we sought approval from the Quality and Qualifications Board. It's called the QQI in Ireland. And we developed a curriculum, and I led that academic team. We presented the course to the Programme Approvals Panel, which brought people from the UK and internationally to examine the curriculum. We had people from the statutory and regulatory bodies on board. And then following a series of academic council meetings, the courses were approved. I then went on to work with the University of Wales, and we developed a master's degree in addiction studies. That was really, really interesting process because I had to bring an academic panel across from the UK to Ireland. They stayed for about a week, and the scrutiny was pretty intense to get the approval because the university, as you know, UK universities, they're widely regarded as among the best in the world, and maintaining the highest academic quality and standards is crucial to their reputation. And as you know, the UK model for assuring quality and standards in universities is very sound and well established, is also well respected internationally, and has influenced parallel developments worldwide. The universities are their own awarding bodies in England, and that's why it helped me to work with them, with my institute, to bring about that degree, which was very successful in the end. What happened then was I went on to set up the Behavioural Training Institute, because I found then that a very, very big need for online education. We just backtrack a little bit. We also provided education to prisoners, inmates in the prisons in Ireland and the prisons in the UK, some of the well-known prisons in the UK. We worked with the probation officers to deliver training to the prisoners, and they found it very beneficial. That was in the old days. I think maybe you all remember the old days of distance learning, where we posted out the the documents to people. They posted back the assignments. So when you think back, it was so laborious. And then what happened was I discovered then, obviously, this online education, which has been absolutely mind-blowing. That's where I've been very fascinated with working with Indian institutes. I think India is really, it's so fabulous to be here this morning with everybody who's so well recognized. And I know Dr. Naji, I've come across your work profoundly in the area of online education. It's been very inspiring for me. So what I did was I set up the Behavioural Training Institute, and I set up a company in Dubai, in the UAE. And from there, we are bringing about, I think it's a terrific model. I have a learning platform. It's fully, set up for up to 100,000 students. So when people register with my institute, they immediately get their login details. They go to the platform. The materials are there. It's asynchronized at the moment, and we are looking at bringing it, doing a lot of lectures, webinars, inviting international people to speak on the courses. I have students from all over the world. I've got two people this week registered from Australia. A very interesting thing, a few weeks ago, I got a ping on my phone, and I get a ping on my phone when people register. And I discovered this guy in the Bronx in New York had registered on my cognitive behavioral therapy course, which I found incredible. I was saying, it's just mind-blowing, the scope of online education. This man was sitting in his room in New York, browsing the internet, came across my institute and paid $400 for one of my courses, which is really fascinating in terms of the scope, the global scope of online education. So the reason I'm very interested in India, it is kind of, again, it's mind-blowing, the scale of India. I have some very interesting partnerships. I've got, obviously, with Professor Dulant. I'm working in collaboration with 3G Psychology. They're based, I think, in Delhi, and they also have offices in Dubai. I'm also working with Counseling India. That's a company now that's set up, and they're absolutely brilliant. They're a young team. They're providing psychotherapy counseling to people online. They're providing training courses, and they're going to be, I'm collaborating, partnering with them to bring my courses to an Indian audience. They're also accredited with the American Psychological Association. And that brings me to accreditation. As we all know, online education has been quite, how's the word to put it? There's been a suspicion about online education, I think, how good it is, how effective it is as an education model. But that's where I'm looking to really develop partnerships with Indian universities, if possible, to bring accreditation to what I'm doing, the courses I'm doing, and to get formal recognition so I can bring more courses and more education in psychology and mental health. That is my main focus. The courses I deliver are positive psychology, cognitive behavioral therapy, counseling. I have an advanced diploma in psychology, and I have at the moment, I've got accreditation with the Continuing Professional Development Institute in London, and also with the Substance Abuse Board in the UK as well. So that's really what I've been doing, and I'm hoping then to develop more partnerships and more to develop with academia in India. If anybody has any questions, I'd be delighted to answer.
If permitted, a quick thought and request to Mr. John.
Sure. Yes, you were on a previous training with me.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We connected in another session as well.
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
just a request. I mean, while talking about the UK system that you are talking about in the education part, I represent an institution that is into MBA education, management education. So, anything in specific that you would like to talk about the management education and your experiences at UK?
Well, I haven't actually developed. I mean, I've got a master's myself in group relations, which is looking at the group organizations. But I haven't developed anything in the leadership field myself. But I did find that it's a very crowded market. My son is doing a master's with the University of Wales, an MBA as well. So I don't really know an awful lot about leadership and in terms of educational leadership. I'm more focused on mental health.
Yeah.
The whole area of mental health and psychoeducation. That's really the area I'm focused on.
Right.
I'd like to just give you an example of a course I'm running, if I can. Let me see.
I mean, just to give a hint, and maybe the other speakers can also develop on it and potentially guide us on that.
Sure.
Like, say, for example, one of the angles of a management education is like developing entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurship is one stream of management.
Yeah.
So is there anything specific that happens in your region to develop entrepreneurs, any specific programs that you do? Like, we have a host of programs here in India, we have been doing it. And the institutions need to potentially more involve themselves into incubatory services so as to develop more of job providing lot rather job seeking lot when it comes to MBA. So that's one of the point, and I'm sure all other speakers also potentially can guide us on it, that okay, how better we can take up this stream of entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship for me is powerful. It's amazing because that for me has been both a blessing and a curse. As I started out as a psychotherapist in private practice, as you can see. Can people see my screen?
Oh yes, it is visible.
Yeah. So basically, I started out and then I discovered my family have a background in business, and I said that's why I set up the Training Institute, because I do have that entrepreneurial spirit, and so this is my background here with depression, eating disorders, and let me see. The course, one of the courses I'm running at the moment is positive psychology, and that's why I think I'll just give you a little bit of background into the kind of courses we're running. It's the science of optimal human functioning. In the past, psychologists were more engaged in treating mental illness, but this particular model looks at how people can be treated from the positive point of view. Instead of focusing on the negatives, it's focused on the positives. So in early psychology, as I said, this is what our students then will get when they start to enroll in our course. They get these very nice little videos, and this is the man who invented it, Martin Seligman. He's the founder of positive psychology. He grew frustrated with psychology's overly narrow focus on the negative. So much attention was paid to mental illness, abnormal psychology, trauma, suffering, so that he was more interested in the area of well-being, happiness, strength, and flourishing. I'll tell you what I was like as a psychotherapist, right? I mean, I don't think academics reflect enough on themselves. Can we take just a minute, just to withdraw into ourselves and think about one thing, just one thing in your life that you're grateful for, right here and now. Just one thing. I'm thinking about one thing. You don't have to share it. Just one thing in your life that you're grateful for. Gratitude is one of the most powerful things. And I'm sure in Indian spirituality, I've come across an awful lot of the focus on gratitude has been a very powerful tool. So I'll tell you what, I won't go into the actual model itself, but that's the kind of thing that we're doing at the Behavioural Training Institute. I just wanted to give you a kind of insight into that, into the courses that we're running. But I just asked Dr. Nagy a question. Yeah, in terms of the online modality now, with the changes with COVID and the changes, the fact that online, here we are today from people from all over India, I'm here from Ireland. How do you see the area of online developing?
I see. I'll be presenting my case very soon.
Okay.
So
No problem.
I think what we saw in the last 2 years during COVID is what you are going to see in the next 30 years. So the trajectory is already there, and we are going to see is expanding the impact, not only the role, but also the impact of online education in general, globally speaking. So I'll come back to you after my presentation, perhaps.
Okay, that's perfect.
For a few questions.
Okay. If anybody has any more questions. I think you're muted, Professor.
Ramesh sir, you are muted. Please unmute yourself. Ramesh sir, you are muted. Please unmute yourself.
Wonderful lecture.
Unmute. Now you can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. John. That was a comprehensive enlightenment on various aspects of distance learning, online education, educating prisoners in UK and Ireland, a mind-blowing scope for online education, behavioral aspects, and different aspects of academics and education. Very, very comprehensive.
Thank you.
And we'll certainly take it forward. Yes.
Sure, thank you.
Welcome. So what we will do is we will request all the speakers from abroad to speak. Then after that, within the country, then we can have a Q&A open so that we can have a proper session.